Hi everybody, welcome to our 30-minute yoga class. My name is Beth. I'm so glad you're here today. This session is going to focus on some more traditional, I'm not going to say gentle poses, but more traditional poses that are going to give you a nice stretch, especially through the hips. So I'm glad you're here. We're going to start today in child's pose. So why don't we come down to our mat. And you can just get into your favorite version of child's pose, knees together, knees apart, whatever works for you. Reach your hands forward, spread your fingers, and release your forehead down towards the mat. And just notice these first few moments of your practice. Notice what kind of jumps out at you first about what's happening in your body. Maybe you feel a tightness in your lower back. Maybe it's your knees. If anything hurts in the pose, you can come out of it. Some people prefer, instead of child's pose, it doesn't work for them, they lie flat on their mat and stack their hands at the top of the mat. So if that works better for you, you can do that instead. Always choosing poses that feel safe to you, and especially in a pose like this, relaxing as well. So notice what's happening in your body. And just acknowledge that. And then notice your breath. Oftentimes at the start of our practice, the breath is fast and shallow. If that's true for you, try to slow down that breath. Take a deeper breath. In and out through the nose. And just notice you're here. Having gratitude for being able to be here. Taking that time during your day to do something nice for yourself. Perhaps setting an intention for your practice. Having a purpose, living a purpose-driven life where everything we do has a purpose and a focus. See if any of that resonates with you. And then on your next breath, come up into tabletop. So tabletop is usually used as a transition pose, but it's also a pose. So let's just, for the sake of review, go over what's important in tabletop. Fingers are spread nice and wide. We're pressing into the tips of our fingers. Shoulders are over our wrists. Elbows are straight but not locked. And the creases of your elbows are kind of like at a 45-degree angle. So not facing all the way forward and not facing in towards yourself. That's going to help your shoulders. Shoulders are pressing back. Head is in line with your spine. Knees are right under the hips. Knees are hip distance apart. Feet are typically flat, although the toes can be tucked also. Tucked toes really help to lengthen the soles of the feet, those muscles under there that sometimes get a little tight. Belly is pulling in. So in tabletop, a lot of times we're not focusing on the belly and it's just kind of there, relaxed. Pull the navel into the spine and that's going to strengthen the muscles in your back as well. So in a nice, strong tabletop, you all look great. I can see through the camera. Let's move through some cat and cows. So as you inhale, release your belly down towards the mat, but still keep the core engaged. So a lot of times people think that means to relax the belly. No, it means to lower the belly by arching the back down towards the mat, but keep that navel to the spine. Press your shoulders back, lift your chin, look forward. And then as you exhale, continuing to pull the belly in, press your spine towards the ceiling and chin towards the chest. Feeling that stretch all through the spine, opening up the back of the spine here, stretching the lower back. Inhale and come back into your cow pose. Remember, belly's still engaged. Lift your chin, shoulders press back, open up your heart, shine your heart forward. And exhale for cat pose. Pulling it all in here, you can even pull up through your pelvic floor, tightening those muscles. Release. We'll do two more. Moving nice and slow here. Focusing on the articulation of the spine. Last one. And then as you finish this one, come into a neutral tabletop. Extend your left leg out behind you. Toe is pressing down on the floor. And then slide your left foot all the way over to your right as far as you can and look over your right shoulder, looking at those toes. We're going to hold here for a couple of breaths, focusing on the stretch on the left side of the body. So feel that stretch. Let those ribs open up nice and wide, making more room for your lungs on the left side. So you can really breathe into that left lung. Noticing also the contraction on the right side of your body. So lots of things are happening here. Keep that right knee nice and engaged, pulling that kneecap up. And then slide that left foot back to the starting position. Tuck your toes on the right foot, lift up a little bit and bring the left foot forward into a lunge, low lunge to start. If you want, you can drop that right knee to the mat. It's still a great way to open up the hips here, so see if that feels right. Arms up overhead. Pressing the shoulders down. Spreading the fingers, looking straight ahead of you, pulling your belly in. Inhale here. And exhale, just open up, twisting to the left. We're not dropping the heel, okay? So the heel, that back heel is staying up off the mat. Twisting, keeping the shoulders parallel with the floor. Spread your fingers. I'm not to the left, to the right. I meant twist to the right. Are you all twisting to the right? Sorry about that. And then inhale, bring your arms back overhead. Lower your arms to the mat and come right into a plank pose. So step that left foot back. Release into a plank. One straight line from the heels to the top of your head. Squeezing the glutes, pulling the belly in, pressing the mat away from you. Head stays in line with your spine. One more breath here. And then bring your knees to the mat. Bring your elbows down to the mat, coming into a Sphinx Pose. So shining your heart forward. So in Sphinx Pose, the hips are nice and relaxed. Okay, so relax the hips and you can keep the glutes a little bit engaged, but the focus here is on opening up the chest, and then you feel a nice stretch in the middle of the belly too. Holding here. And then slide your elbows back a little bit towards your chest, so hands are parallel with your chest. And we're going to do 3 kind of push-ups into Cobra and then back down, okay? So inhale and push up through your palms, pressing your shoulders back and down, looking forward, and then release. Push back up. Just notice how this feels in your belly, in your lower back, and release. Also using a lot of strength in the arms. One more time, push up, open up the heart. And then from here, instead of coming back down, let's go right into Child's Pose to reset the spine. So bring your knees together. Bring your arms along the sides of your body though, palms facing up. It's actually called Embryo Pose. Bring your forehead to the mat. Roll through your wrists a couple of times. And breathe. Always in these reset poses or resting poses, notice what's happening in your body. Try not to think about things outside your practice. Stay focused on your breath, on maybe some muscles that are talking to you. It's all good. One more breath. And let's do that same sequence on the other side. So coming back into tabletop. Remember all those components of a strong tabletop we talked about? For me, I always have to think about pulling my belly in, really engaging there through the core, even though it seems like this is an easy pose. When you're really engaged in it, you're working the muscles in the body. And then extend that right leg out, pointing the toes down towards the floor. As you exhale, slide that foot over to the left as far as you can, and then look over your left shoulder, taking a look at the toes. So the emphasis here is on opening up the right side of the body. Feel those ribs on the right side, spreading, making more room for breath, trying to increase our lung capacity here. So important for lung health. One more breath, breathing deep into that right side. And then slide that right leg back. Tuck the toes on the left foot. Come up and bring that right foot forward in between your hands. Steadying yourself here. Just pausing in the pose to get a nice stretch through the groin. And then when you're ready, lift your arms up. Pressing the shoulders back and down, spreading your fingers. Feel the strength in the pose. So you can just kind of be in the pose or really engage. And when you're ready, bring your arms out parallel to the floor, and my back is going to be towards you, I'm sorry. Twist to the left. So not dropping that back heel, staying on the balls of your feet. Reaching out in opposite directions. Notice maybe your body is kind of wobbling from side to side as you try to keep your balance. And then inhale, bring that left arm up. And exhale, fold, coming back into the plank pose. Plank pose is one of those all-encompassing poses. It feels like every muscle is engaged. Squeeze those glutes, pull the belly in. Press the shoulders back and down. Nice long, deep breaths here. One more breath. And then lower your knees and slide right back down into that Sphinx pose. So relaxing the glutes and the hips and the belly. Press the shoulders back, spread your fingers, shine your heart forward, and just notice. Notice your breath and see if it's still slow and steady, or maybe it is a little bit more shallow. Always being aware of how our yoga practice affects us, our physical body, and our mental body as well. So checking in with yourself here. The more you relax that midsection of your body, the better the opening in the front of the spine, so try to keep that area nice and relaxed. And then slide your hands back to your chest. Elbows in towards your ribs, push up into cobra, keeping the pelvic bone on the mat in cobra, shoulders pressing down and back. And release. Push up. And release. And one more time, push up. Come back into child's pose just for a moment to reset, stretching out the spine and the lower back. Inhale, make your way up into down dog. Pedal it out nice and slowly, stretch those calves. Neck is nice and relaxed, crown of the head is hanging down. And then pause in your down dog pose. Don't lock those knees. And then hop forward or walk your feet forward. Coming into your forward bend. We're going to hold a forward bend for 1 minute. So feet are hip distance apart. Bring your hands into your elbows, chin to your chest. Weight is in your toes. Bend your knees if that feels better. And here we go, 1 minute. And as you're holding the pose, your body is resisting the stretch. So we want to relax the body and the mind by softening the muscles. Of course, your hamstrings are going to be fighting that because those are the ones that are stretching. But the muscles in your shoulders, in your hands, in your face, just let them go. And then use that. We talked about 4-8 breathing in the past, so breathing into the count of 4 and out to the count of 8. If that's too long, make it out to a count of 6 or something like that. But just make the exhale longer. That's always a tool to relax the body. You can even use that 4-8 breathing when you're out and about and things are stressful. A couple more breaths right here. Relax your hands back down to your mat. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, roll all the way up. Bring your hands over your head, fingertips touch, shoulders pressing down. Reach back behind you, shining your heart up towards the ceiling. And then bring your hands to heart center. I'm going to turn forward, and let's come into palm tree pose for another balancing posture. So feet are rooting down into the mat, toes are spread nice and wide, kneecaps are pulling up, glutes are engaged, pelvic floor is pulling up, and belly's pulling in. Always preparing for a balancing posture by engaging your center of gravity. Shift over to your left foot and bring your right foot to your ankle, your calf, your thigh. You can pull the heel all the way up into the groin. Wherever you're going to land it, make it maybe a little bit challenging for you. Or today, maybe if you want to go gently, you can keep it at your ankle. You can even use your toe as a little kickstand. Make sure you're not locking that left knee. Press that right knee back behind you. Tighten those glutes. And lift up out of the pose. Nice tall posture here. And when you're ready, bring your arms up and open. Spread those fingers. Shoulders pressing down. Say something great to yourself, like, I am perfect. One more breath. And relax your posture. Bring your feet a little bit closer together. Bend your knees and come right into chair pose. Reaching your arms forward, like you're sitting right back into a chair that's somebody's pulling in, pushing in for you. You can come really deep, or maybe today you want to go more gently. You find the spot that's great for you. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Nice job. Straighten your knees. Bring your left elbow into the crook of your right and bring your the backs of your hands together or the palms together. Or if that doesn't work for you, you can just bring your hands onto your shoulders. That's a nice way to engage the arms as well. And then wrap the right leg around the left. Lift your elbows. You can stay with a straight left knee if you want, or you can bend that knee a little bit. Continuing with our balance while binding up the pose. One more breath. And relax your posture. Bring your arms up overhead. Release your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Straighten your elbows. Reach your arms away from your body as you bring your gaze up. Release, bring your arms up overhead. And exhale, forward bend. Just relax like a rag doll. Weight into the toes. Relax the neck. Head is just hanging down. Inhale halfway up. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, reach all the way up, fingertips together. And reach back behind you. Drop your shoulders down towards the mat. Shine your heart up. Straighten your posture. And bring your hands to heart center. Let's do that palm tree pose on the other side. So again, rooting down through your feet like a palm tree's roots going into the ground. Pull the kneecaps up. Engage your muscles. Shift your weight to your right side. Left foot rests on the right leg, wherever it's right for you. Press that left leg back. Try to keep the hips even here. Notice, be present, bring your arms up overhead and reach. And breathe. Spread those fingers, press the arms down. Smile. One more breath. Nice, everybody. Release your posture. Feet are almost hip distance apart, not quite maybe. Bend your knees, come right into chair pose. So in chair pose, the weight is on the heels. So shift your weight back if you weren't doing that before. And pretend you're just about to sit in a chair, reaching forward. I've seen some people do chair pose like this, which is interesting. It's an option. Try that. See if it feels any different to you. Notice the heat building in the thighs. Keep that core engaged. One more breath. Nice, everybody. And then straighten those knees. Bring your left elbow into the crook of the right. Wrap at the wrists. Bring the, wrap the left leg around the right. Raise your elbows up. So you can bend your knee here if you like, or you can stay a little bit more with a straight knee. As you raise those elbows, feel the upper back really engaging here. Try to keep the hips even. One more breath. And release your posture. Bring your arms up overhead. Release them behind your back. Straighten your elbows. One last time. Draw your knuckles down towards the mat as you pull your arms away from your body. Look up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And let's forward fold with our arms behind our back. So hinging at the hips, come all the way down. And your arms maybe point up towards the ceiling. For some people who are have a lot of mobility in the shoulders, their hands can kind of float over their heads. Doesn't really matter. Some people will keep their hands close to their body, just what works for you. And then release your hands down towards your mat into a forward bend. Inhale halfway. And exhale, fold. Step back into down dog. Separate your feet the width of your mat. And just shift your hips from side to side. Nice stretch there through the hips and the groin. And then bring your hips back to center. Bring your feet back to hip distance apart. We'll finish up with a little core work here. So lift your left leg up behind you. And then exhale, shift your weight forward. Bring your knee to your chest. Shift your weight back and extend that left leg out. Point your toes, reach. Then exhale, chin to your chest. A few more. Just move with your breath. Keep going. You can go at your own pace, but try to go with controlled movement. So not just rocking back and forth. We're really being present in what's happening in the hip, in the belly, in the shoulders. Let's do one more. And then release down into tabletop. Exhale into cat pose. And then walk your hands forward into puppy pose. So hips stay where they are, but arms reach forward and then press your chest down to the mat. Walk your hands back. Come back into your down dog. Lift your right leg back behind you. Reach, point the toes, reach back behind you, and exhale, shift forward, knee to the chest. Extend back and forward. So again, just move at your own pace, finding a nice rhythm here with your breath. Trying to bring that knee as close to the chest as you can to really engage the core. Couple more. And then release that right leg down. Coming back into your cat pose just to reset, shine the heart forward. And then this time, rather than coming into puppy pose, sit back on your heels and walk your hands back behind you. Hands behind your hips, bring your shoulder blades together and shine your heart up. And then walk your hands back to center. Swing your legs out from under you. Bring your feet out in front, ankles are flexed. Bring your arms up overhead, reach up high out of your hips. And exhale, release down to your mat, one vertebrae at a time, really curling through your spine. Bring your arms up overhead, palms facing up. Bend your right knee, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, twist over to the left. So bring that right knee down to the left side of your mat. If you need some help, take your left hand and push that knee down. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make it all the way to the ground. You want to keep your right shoulder on the mat. So that's a priority. And just bring that right knee as close to the floor as it can be. And then release your posture. Left arm comes back up. Bend the left knee. And then twist over to the right. And if you want a little help, you can use your right hand on your left leg. Just try to keep that left shoulder on the mat. And then release your posture. Bring that right arm up overhead. Take a deep breath in and stretch in opposite directions. And then release your body into your favorite Shavasana pose. Deep breath in through the nose. And open mouth, exhale. Relax your lips, close your eyes. And we'll just take a moment to let our body rest, taking in all the benefits of our practice. Visualize the increased oxygen from your deep breathing, nourishing all the cells in your body, healing, energizing. A couple more breaths, staying in Shavasana. And when you're ready, roll over onto your side and help yourself up into a seated position. So you don't have to use Shavasana just as the end of your yoga practice. You can do it any time where it's appropriate, maybe not in the middle of the road somewhere, but If you're home and you're feeling stressed out, and you can just go in a quiet place and lie down for a few minutes and just practice on your deep breathing, it will really lower your heart rate and just help to relax the body and the mind, which is so important, especially during these times. There's a lot of things going on in the world. So we want to make sure our heart rate is not always in that higher zone. So you can go online and check what your heart rate for you, your age, and all that stuff, what a resting heart rate would be. And then try to achieve that through little resting times throughout the day. Call it Shavasana. It doesn't have to be part of a full yoga practice. Great tool for the toolbox. Anyway, let's just take a deep breath in through our nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you all for joining me today. So good to be with all of you. Hope to see you next week in another 30-minute yoga practice. Check all the Driven Yoga YouTube videos. They're all great. I do them quite a bit. So hope you are too. Have a great rest of the day, everybody, and hope to see you next time. Namaste.